And more breaking news coming in at this point. A meeting is underway between Raksha Mantri Nirmala Sitharaman and visiting Chinese Defense Minister. The meeting is underway in South Block. Wang Fenghe is leading a 25-member strong delegation. And remember, this is coming just a year after the Doklam crisis. We are putting out pictures of that meeting for our viewers. And let's get the latest on this from my colleague Snehesh, who's joining us on the phone line. Snehesh, what is being discussed in this meeting?
Well, this is an important meeting which comes just 1 year after the Doklam crisis. Now, this is a meeting between visiting Chinese Defense Minister and Raksha Mantri Nirmala Sitharaman. The focus of this entire meeting is to discuss more CBMs, that is confidence building measures, along with setting up of a hotline that has been in talks for a very long time. At the same time, another key focus area is to restart the hand-in-hand. There's an annual army exercise which was started in 2007 but was stopped following the Doklam crisis. Now, what we've been told by top sources in the army as well as in the Ministry of Defense is that the hand-in-hand exercise will be held this year. So the meeting between the two assumes huge importance because this is at a time when both India and China are working together to smoothen the relationship between the two countries, especially because of the transgressions that happens at the LC. Back to you.
Continue talking to us, Snehesh. Give us more details of how these meetings are going to proceed through the days to come, or will they really conclude on what needs to be decided today itself?
Well, this Chinese visiting delegation came day before yesterday. Now, this is he took over as the defense minister in March this year, and this is his first visit to India. Now, this 25-member delegation first met with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, following which he also had a lecture yesterday at the Defense College here in New Delhi. Now, today he's meeting with the Raksha Mantri, where a number of issues are being discussed. Remember that both the countries, after the Doklam crisis, there have been high-level meetings that have taken place. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has traveled to China and has held bilateral meetings. This was an unofficial. It was not a formal meeting per se, but then both sides have been working round the clock to ensure that the relationship improves. And hence, this particular meeting, comes just weeks after a high-member Chinese military delegation had visited India and an Indian delegation had visited China earlier this month. The delegation was a 4-member delegation which was led by the Eastern Army commander. Now, the focus of the two countries is to ensure that the relationship smoothens up. There's a difference of perception when it comes to the line of actual control, and hence, there have been transgressions that have taken place on both sides. It's not just that the Chinese only intrude into Indian territory, so-called Indian territory. Indian troops also have intruded into what Chinese describe as the Chinese territory. But the fact of the matter is that the big thing is that after the Doklam crisis of last year, both sides are working on to ensure that there is no repeat of Doklam and there is no repeat of any standoff that takes place on both the sides. But remember, both India and China have also, built up the defenses along the border. Now, for example, while India is working to smoothen things out with China, we've also increased the number of personnel posted there, along with the various units of the Indian Army, along with our strategy, along with various assets and equipment that have been deployed along the border. Also, remember that the Navy has also been brought into the play. The Navy is doing a lot of aggressive patrolling in the Indian Ocean, keeping a very hawk-eye view on the Chinese naval activity. But behind all this, while India and China both have beefed up the defenses, the crucial point is that both countries want peace to prevail. Right. Both countries want to smoothen the issues between the two countries. Back to you.
Right. Things definitely seem to be moving in a positive direction as far as Indo-China relations are concerned, especially after Prime Minister's visit that we saw in Wuhan. But Snehesh, give us more details on what will be India's strategy to deal with this Chinese delegation and how they're going about with this meeting.
Well, one of the primary focus for India would be to smoothen the relationship, and for this, we want to restart the annual military exercise that takes place between the two countries. This exercise is called the hand-in-hand exercise, which was instituted in 2007, and since then it has been held every year, once in India and the next year in China. But however, the last year's exercise could not be held because of the Doklam crisis. The Chinese had refused, they refused to take part in the exercise, and hence this focus would be on to restart the exercise. What we've been told by the top sources in the army as well as the defense ministry is that the hand-in-hand exercise will be restarted this year, and this would be a major boost as far as the ties between the two countries are concerned. The second and most important thing is to institute a hotline between the two countries. Now, this hotline is something that was talked about way back in 2014. Since then, the armies of both the sides have been talking to each other and working out and resolving the various issues that were there in the hotline. But now we've been told by top sources in the army is that the issue is almost settled, and very soon there would be a hotline that would be created between the Chinese military headquarters and the Indian Army headquarters here in New Delhi. The third issue that needs to be dealt with is the opening up of more talking points along the border. For example, whenever there's an issue that develops, we have a number of places where meetings are held along in Arunachal, in Sikkim, in Ladakh area. Now, the focus is to increase these border point meeting points over a period of time. So that also is an area of focus. Besides this, the entire effort is to ensure that whenever a transgression takes place at the LAC, both the sides are able to solve it through phone calls, through the hotline that would be set up, and through other measures, and not to escalate into such a situation as what happened in Doklam.